Hi, Queens. We're back together again. Well, not in person, sadly.
One day,
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, August, I will be seeing you.
yes, but I
In
don't think there'll be enough time to do an in-person episode then.
No, and we might not want to be honest. We might be eating and chilling instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. We'll dive straight in because I had a lot of questions and I would like to get through them all, but it doesn't matter if we don't. I'm just going to I'm going to start with Georgia actually. Georgia asked all these questions and
Yes, she sent them to me as well.
we're gonna answer as many as possible, Georgia. And honestly, I've kind of put it's all the same question. That's what I've found. So I'm gonna ask three separate ones of Georgia's, which I believe is all of them in one. The first one is a quick one for both you and I, which you already probably know, Julia. One
Yeah.
recovery high and one recovery low for each of us. Do you want to go first?
Okay, so one recovery low is when I seriously considered ending my marriage because I didn't want to let my husband see my changing body.
Mm, big low.
That was a big low.
Yeah.
And highs, well, there's so many actually. There's so many. Um, the first time I enjoyed a meal,
Mm.
that was amazing
Yeah.
because I just never believed it possible. So that was a real high for me. How about you?
I've not even thought about this since she's asked me actually. A recovery high. Oh, this beats all of mine. No longer being afraid of weight gain.
Mm,
The point where I gained weight, obviously in recovery, and then I had loads of fear around it and I worked through it. And then there got to a point where I was like, it doesn't matter if I gain weight or not, because I'm fine with
no,
it
it
either
doesn't.
way.
Yeah.
That's the best part. Recovery low. I think similar to you, I wasn't married at the time, but I didn't want Wouter to see my body in any way, shape, or form. So intimacy was off the table. I would be like praying that he didn't want to get intimate, which sounds awful, but I know so many people can relate. And I would just hide
Yeah.
myself. I was hiding socially, physically, just hiding. And that's sad, but I had to go through that to get to where I was.
I think it's part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how I could have avoided that because the way you learn how to be accepting and embracing who you are is by having those lows and knowing that you don't want them because they don't feel good and I don't want to hide anymore. But then what else do I do? And it's part of the process.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So then Georgia says, and maybe you have one similar, I don't know. Could you address lower level movement compulsions? So up and down the stairs, cleaning, standing. So she's not asked a specific question, but addressing it, I assume, means should we stop? How to stop?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's a common one, isn't it?
Yes.
Being busy all the time, making yourself busy. And I think part of it is the movement compulsion, is the not sitting still, but it's also partly a
Yeah.
distraction from feeling, a distraction from thinking. So I think it's kind of twofold.
Yes.
Um, and the first one, I think, is give yourself permission to stop.
That's big.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because we know when we're doing it. That's
yeah,
the thing. Like Georgia, especially, she's very aware. She knows when she's doing it. And most people do if they get brutally honest with themselves. There's a difference between literally needing to go up the stairs to do the washing or whatever, compared to, oh, like purposely forgetting something and then having to go up and down like 5 times when you could have done it in one go.
yeah.
And it's having that commitment to recovery and freedom and noticing what you're doing. And I said out loud a lot, stop. Nope. Because I'm quite talkative to myself in general. And I like to bring humor as much as I can into anything, especially really serious healing stuff. So I'd be like, nope. And that was the same with body checking. Like I would literally say something to myself out loud and then do something different. the thing with lower compulsive movement is you can't do anything different really, apart from you can sit and knit or do a puzzle or keep your hands busy to help distract, but ultimately it's sitting with that out of, like, wanting to crawl out of your skin, isn't it? And just being with that.
Yeah, it's allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, asking yourself if the recovered version of you would be doing this. Is this something you want to be doing in your future? Constantly doing, doing, doing.
Yeah.
And what do you want? Who do you want to be in that way? Like going forwards, do you want to be really busy all the time? Or do you want to have the ability to just sit down and watch and be? It's like, I think both of us use the cinema to practice sitting.
It's a great practice because you kind of have to. You can't be like
Yeah.
standing up and stuff in the cinema.
Yeah, that was really, really helpful actually. It was one of the first ways I felt I had to sit. There was no excuse not to. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great one.
That is a good idea. So take yourself to the cinema, Georgia. I know you can't be at the cinema 24 hours a day, but it's great practice. And the thing with this is, as with all things in recovery, really, the more you're committed to it and the more you repeat it in short spaces of time, aka resting, it gets easier really quickly.
Yeah, especially if you celebrate it
Yes.
and notice that actually, yeah, I did sit for a 2.5 hour film. Evidence it, notice that you can do it.
Yes.
That's really huge.
Yes.
So many people say, I can't, I can't, I can't.
That's not true. They can.
Well, they can.
You know what analogy I'm going to use, don't you now? What I shared on WhatsApp this morning.
Yes.
And Wouter said this to me years ago, and it really annoyed me because I knew he was right. I don't know what it was about now. But if someone's saying, and I don't want to go into this, taking away the fact that recovery is scary and there's a lot of fear, we know,
Oh, yeah.
both know. But if someone says to you, Georgia, as an example, in this particular what we're talking about, if someone said to you, by the end of the month, I will give you £10 million to not do the lower level compulsion. So it's not like you have to sit on your sofa like for the entire month. Just do normal recovered stuff without doing the obsessive movement. And there's a £10 million waiting for you at the end of that month. Could you do it? I'm assuming nearly everybody in the world would say yes. So then, therefore, when we swap, this is from a great book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. When we swap the words I can't to I won't, I mean, that's responsibility right there. It doesn't mean there's no fear. It doesn't mean it's easy. But I won't. You're taking responsibility for the fact that you're choosing fear to allow you to stay stuck instead of sitting and watching something funny on YouTube or something, because you can use that to help you mentally. You don't have to sit in silence right from the beginning. You will want to later, trust me, that's a process. But watch something,
Yeah.
do a puzzle or something, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the I won't rather than I can't, because that's actually, it is taking responsibility and it's taking yourself out of the victim mode as well, isn't it? And you can't. It's like the world is happening to you. I won't, because you're actually making a choice. So you're stepping out of the victim mentality as well. So
Yes.
I love that.
That's everything. And then the other one, Georgia said, I've kind of compressed this, Georgia, because I believe it is the same question. So, can you address extreme hunger, mental hunger, always thinking about food, thinking about compensating for food? Is it really okay to honor extreme hunger, even if it's purely mental, even if you want to eat when you're physically uncomfortably full? Is complete rest still okay when you're eating biscuits and processed food and ice creams, chocolate, etc.? I'm talking 10,000 calories a day. I was in that camp too. Are we sure that's not binging or just greed? So it's the same question, isn't it, in a way? It's like, is this okay, what I'm doing and experiencing right now?
Yes, 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 and yes.
And no, it's not binging. No, it's not greed. It's all necessary.
Absolutely. If you think about the debt, how many millions of calories you're in debt, how much your body needs for repair, how much your body needs to simply feel safe.
Yeah.
It's all normal. I know it's terrifying, but it is so normal. And it's not forever either. It's temporary.
Yeah. She has a fear, which most of us I did, that it will last forever. But
Yeah.
are you or are you not waking up in the middle of the night, Julia, eating packets upon packets of Belvita biscuits anymore?
No, not at all. No.
You were worried at one point that it would last like for years.
I thought it would be a habit. I thought I was creating bad habits. I was convinced that Violet thingy of Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, was going to be me. I was going to be her, and I was just going to blow up one day. Yeah, I thought it would never end, and I thought it was obscene, and it's temporary. It's part of the process again.
Yeah. And the process takes as long as it takes
Mm,
as
absolutely. Although you can help yourself by allowing. The
well.
more you fight it, the longer it takes.
Yeah. Amen to that. Right, Georgia. There we go, my love. Okay, Julie, I'll let you go with a question.
Okay, well, I've got a lot of Claires actually, it seems, reached out to me. 3 different Claires.
Oh, okay.
I know. Trying to increase the food intake, but the discomfort after eating is unbearable. How to do it?
Ooh. Shall I go?
Yeah.
Oh, I really wish I could give a magic wand answer here. It's doing the behavior anyway. It sounds like this Claire is doing the behavior of eating more food because she's experiencing the aftermath of the extreme discomfort. And then to help you through the discomfort, I would say, in fact, I would guarantee that this Claire is fighting and trying to resist the feeling of discomfort that's coming up after.
Yes.
Whatever we fight,
It's wrong.
yeah. So when we just like, right, okay, the discomfort's going to be there because I'm in recovery from an eating disorder. I'm going against what my brain wants me to do and what I have done for however many years. Of course, it's going to feel really uncomfortable. I'm going to have shame, guilt, fear, what if, anxiety, panic, and I can tolerate it and I can breathe. And I can also reach out to my coach if I have one or a support group and focus on my future vision, which is why the hell I'm doing this in the first place. That's what I would say, share to that one, because I know we've both said we're going to rein ourselves in a little bit and try and do quick fire questions, but I feel like that's good for what I wanted to say.
Just like to talk to the physical discomfort after eating as well. Which is incredibly unpleasant, and it does hurt and it does feel horrible, and your body will adjust.
Yes.
Your body has to relearn how to digest properly, how to produce the correct enzymes for each different type of food. Stomach has to get used to having food in it and start to become a normal sized stomach again. So that physical discomfort is your body adjusting, and it's temporary. It really is a case of just knowing it's going to be uncomfortable and allowing that.
And this too shall pass, like you keep saying. That's so key because it doesn't feel temporary at the time.
No, but it is.
It is.
It very much is.
Yeah. All right, I've got one from Ems. So I assume it's Emma, but I don't know. So can we talk about comparison, wanting what friends have, like a family, a partner, and worrying I will never have that due to years of anorexia? I don't know if this person is in anorexia or if she's recovered from anorexia. The way you're smiling, do you know this person?
I do know this
that's
person.
helpful.
So she's in recovery from anorexia.
Okay.
You have your own lane, sweetheart. It's that simple. What your friends, families, partners, etc. have is what they have, and what you have is what you have. And comparing will always make you feel less than.
Yeah. And to add on, and I don't know this lady, but you can perhaps have that too. And the only way to find out is by recovering. So you're recovered and you're in freedom and you're healthy. And then you might find a partner. They might find you. You might find each other. I don't know how old this person is, whether it's possible to have a family, but there's all different options. So it doesn't mean this person can't.
No, no, it doesn't. And saying goodbye, letting go of the anorexia is the best way of opening doors of possibility, isn't it?
Yeah. And like we all know, well, me and you both definitely both know, when one door closes, another two open. But you have to close the door
Absolutely.
first.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, you go.
Okay, so this is from another Claire.
Yes.
And also, there's two other questions. Krista has put how to be okay with weight gain during recovery.
I've got the same one. I'm going to delete that one off because if you got that one,
basically the same question, aren't they?
Yeah. That's from Krista though, also. So how to be okay with weight gain during recovery. Yeah.
Yeah, and how to deal with the fear of gaining weight from Claire. Is it, I think the question I would ask is, are you wanting to be thin, or are you wanting to not gain weight, or are you wanting to be okay with gaining weight?
Great question. There's a difference.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because if you are not wanting to gain weight and you're not willing to be open to anything else and you're settled in that, then that's a block. You are literally blocking yourself. And there isn't really any way past that. If you're pushing that block in, then you're stopping yourself from moving forwards. But if you're wanting to be okay with gaining weight, then there is so much you can do, so much you can show up for yourself, but it does take hard work.
Yeah.
Being aware of the language you're using, not making fat, weight, and anything to do with it a negative, make it neutral. Look at what it means, what you're making it mean if you gain weight. So there are so many things you can do to help yourself, but it's hard work and it does involve constant reframing, showing up for yourself. It's very much a practice. There's not just one thing and there is no magic wand.
Yeah, I agree to that. And the way Crystal said, how to be okay with weight gain during recovery, you won't be okay with weight gain during recovery.
No.
That's the thing. I asked myself a question, which might not shock any of you because I love questions. It was like, right, because my limiting belief was I will never be happy if I gain weight. I'll never be attractive if I gain weight. I'll never feel confident if I gain weight. That felt 10 out of 10 true for me. However, the question I asked myself, was I willing to be wrong about that?
Yes.
And yes, I was. I wanted to be, yes, please, I want to be wrong about that. So even if you feel it's so true, you can never be happy if you gain weight, if you're willing to be wrong about that as you go on this journey, that's all you need to get where me and Julia are. Because of course you don't know how you're going to be okay yet. That's what Julia was talking about. There's so much we can do around the fear of weight gain, because actually it's not the fear of weight gain in and of itself. It's what is all underneath that, what that means. It's usually connected to worthiness, attractiveness, lovability, acceptability, aesthetics, and the value of that, the value you hold of being aesthetically pleasing. So much, but we cannot move past that block unless you're willing to be wrong about the fact that you can be happy if you gain weight. You don't need to know how. That's when coaches come in, right? Because we've worked through this ourselves. We are no longer afraid of weight gain. Not many people, even professional coaches and therapists, not many people can say that.
No, I guess they probably can't, can they?
No, because it's everywhere. The fear of weight gain. It's and this kind of, I'm just going to bring another question into this now because this correlates beautifully. Heidi says, how do you stop caring about what other people think if you put on weight? For example, oh, she's put weight on. It's everywhere. It's in the, I mean, yeah, God, I do this because this body positive movement was getting really, really widespread, and it was being more made aware of. But then now this GLP-1, Ozempic, and all of this
Yeah.
has come in. That's another conversation, and that's, I think, really going to damage this movement of body positivity. So it's everywhere. People are either on a diet, thinking about dieting, thinking they should diet. That's the norm, and it's not normal at all to be
Do
there.
you want to be part of that?
I don't, and I'm
Not
not.
do I. Because it's not being your authentic self, is it?
Nope. Not if you have to starve yourself, restrict yourself, deny yourself. That's not being who you truly are.
Not at all.
No. So to answer, I guess, the question, and then I'll hand it to you, Julia, as well, how to stop caring what people think, Heidi, if you put on weight, is going back to what Julia says. What do you make that mean? So say if I saw Julia and I was like, oh, Julia's got brown hair. Not that you have, but let's say you dyed your hair brown or something. That's just a judgment or an observation that I might have, and I said it. What does that mean though? Is that a bad thing? Is it just an observation? I know that most people are saying she's gained weight from a negative place, but you're not most people. We get to decide what things mean about us, and other people, they're going to decide whatever they're going to decide. There's nothing we can do about that. So it starts
Yeah,
with us always.
absolutely. We have the power as to how much meaning we give it.
Yeah, and that's the work. It is simple, but there's a few things that's all correlated with the fear of weight gain. It's what you make it mean and the work you're doing underneath that. And then whatever someone thinks about you, it's none of your business and it doesn't matter actually.
And I think it's also worth remembering that in the beginning, the extreme fear, the fear where you think you actually would rather die,
Mm,
is a symptom of an illness.
yes.
That's not who you are, it's part of the illness.
Yeah.
And that is not how most people think. I know most people in society, because of the society we live in, don't want to gain weight. I don't think anybody wants to gain weight. I mean, I don't want to gain weight, but I'm not afraid of it.
Same.
But that extreme fear, that absolute panic, that total feeling that you cannot possibly allow this is a symptom of an illness.
Yeah. It's not a healthy, happy mind at all. So people will judge you no matter what. And if someone thinks, oh, she's put weight on, then number one, we probably won't know they're thinking that.
No, I'm sure so many people have thought that when they've seen me and not seen me for a year or 2 years or whatever, because obviously I gained weight because I recovered from a life-threatening eating disorder. So
Yeah. And you're
also,
still alive after they've perhaps judged you in their heads, right?
yeah, absolutely. Most of the time, I don't think I'd have known about it because most people wouldn't say it out loud.
Mm.
Some would, some people are thoughtless.
Mm-hmm.
But even those that did, it doesn't mean anything about me.
No. It's just a fact that they might be stating, you've got blonde hair, you've gained weight.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
And what does that mean?
I did directly answer someone back when they said, "Oh, you gained weight." I said, "Yeah, happens when you recover from anorexia."
Boom.
And they didn't say a word.
Yeah. So, Heidi, when you do, I don't know how much work you've done, but when you do and continue doing the work on yourself, what other people think, it honestly, it doesn't matter to you because you will never be able to control what people think ever. You'll be too thin, too fat, too pretty, too ugly, too loud, too quiet for somebody.
Yeah,
So, good luck pleasing everybody. Please yourself first.
yeah, it's what you want to think of yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the work too, because obviously she'll be judging the shit out of herself because she's afraid that other people will be judging her too. So it all starts with the inner work for sure.
Yeah. And the inner work is doing the same thing again and again and again and again, isn't it? It's not a one and done. It's not a, well, I reframed those thoughts this week and I'm still scared.
Yeah. Why aren't I recovered yet? I've been
Yeah.
4 weeks in.
Yeah. It's constant, and it creates a habit, I guess, that then becomes part of your life. A bit like self-compassion.
Yes.
It's the first time you're nice to yourself, you don't actually believe it.
No, it feels weird and fake and like stupid and this is pointless. Yeah. But it's not pointless.
No.
And it will feel true because that's how you rewire your brain. I mean, yeah, you can't mindset your way out of a trauma response, which is why you need to be working with a trauma-informed person to do with emotional release and like your nervous system regulation, all of that. But you can do a lot with mindset, especially when you know how to feel feelings and let them go. Of course, you'll recover. It's just repetition and kindness to yourself.
Absolutely.
Right. Have you got another one?
I have a little fun one actually from Emma. Not a question, but I love the icebreakers. Please, can you do one each?
Oh, great
So,
question. All right, you go first then, and then I'll think in a minute to ask you.
my icebreaker question for you is, what do you want people to remember you for?
I want people to remember me for my immense love and compassion to all and genuine care. Like, I really give a shit. I do. I run a business, obviously. People pay me to work with me one to one and through groups, but I care so much and I want people to feel differently and feel that in my presence.
I think they do.
Thank you. Oh, I need to think of one for you. I don't know why I'm looking around the room like it's going to give me an answer. Icebreaker for Julia. Sorry, Emma, bear with me. I'm trying to make this really good, but I'm kind of drawing blanks. I know you really well too. So, if this will be an interesting one, actually. This has come to me, so I'm going with it.
Okay.
If you had to be, so there's no choice not to be, because I'm kind of trying to guess your answer. If you had to be a Disney character, what one would you be and why?
Oh, um, gosh. Does it have to specifically be Disney or just like a cartoony film?
I guess in my head, like cartoony type
Okay.
thing.
I'd really quite like to be Piglet or
Oh,
Winnie the Pooh
yeah. Why?
because he's really present, he's really chilled, and he just is full of love. He loves everybody and he just listens. And I'd really quite like to be Piglet. I think he's a great philosopher, actually.
Oh, definitely. There's some of the memes that I don't know if it memes is the right word, but the things that you see with Pooh and Piglet.
Yeah.
One of them that comes to mind, which sticks to me, is something I don't know who said it. Piglet probably said the wise thing. I think Pooh said, "We only live once, don't we, Piglet?" And Piglet said, "No, Pooh, we only die once, we live every day."
Yes, that's
Oh,
beautiful. See, yeah, I'd love to be Piglet, to have that outlook on life and to
I
be
think
so
you do.
present.
I think you do, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah. They were fun, but I knew you wouldn't want to be fucking Cinderella or waiting for someone in a tower to come and save you, which is why I was like, if you had to be a Disney.
Yeah. No, my other answer was going to be the donkey of Shrek, actually.
That's a great one.
Because he was fun and spontaneous and impulsive. So, yeah, it was never going to be a princess.
No way. No, no, no. I love those. Right, what have we got next? Let me just make sure I've not skipped any from my nice organized list. Oh, this is a good one. And I guess kind of correlates to what we've just spoken about, but I did want to ask a question. Mel says, how to pick up a social life again after I'm well on the way to recovery. I find it really difficult when conversations about dieting and weight loss start, when they're saying things like, I'm too fat, etc. It automatically makes me think, oh no, am I too fat? How to deal with this?
Yeah, that is tough because, as we said before, it's everywhere. And I actually think when you're in recovery, you also notice it so much more.
Yeah, you do.
Initially, I left conversations when I was in early recovery because I couldn't deal with it and I just needed to protect myself.
Yeah.
I also asked friends to not have those conversations around me. Yeah, I did say to them, I find this really triggering. Can you save your conversations like this for when I'm not there? It does get easier though, as well.
It does, because I used to go from feeling exactly how Mel feels now. I used to be like questioning myself. Oh no, like, because I wasn't strong in my recovery at the beginning, it would make me question myself. Like, is this extreme hunger just complete binging bullshit? For example, like, is it actually okay? I guess what George is asking, is this actually okay what I'm doing? And the answer is, of course, yes. But I did what Julie did. I left the conversation. It depends on the person, depends how close you are.
Yeah.
If it's someone like at the office and you don't really feel comfortable, sharing that I'm in recovery, this is really challenging for me. I'd really appreciate it if you spoke about this when I'm not here. If that's like too much to share, then you can either leave the room physically, wittily change change the subject, make a joke like, oh, we don't need to worry about that. Like, there's ways you can do it, depends on your personality. If you feel ready, and you might, and I definitely can't stop myself now, depending on who it is, I share what's on my mind from a place without judging them. Because I used to be that person too. I was the person who'd be like, oh my God, I'm so fat. I need to lose XYZ. And I've been so bad today and all that bullshit. I was that person too. And if someone had said to me at the time, have you ever thought about it this way? Or asked me a question that kind of made me think just for a few minutes, that could have changed my life back then. So whether or not you feel comfortable doing this, it's okay. If not, ask a question or share something that might get them thinking, because you could actually help them and change the conversation for yourself at the same time.
Yeah, really great answer.
Yeah. And setting boundaries, because it is so normal, and that's how people, humans, we want connection. We do everything we can to connect with the other person. Dieting, talking about that, weight loss, it connects us because that's what most of us are doing. So
Yeah.
it's only an attempt at connection. So if you can be the role model and connect in a different way, talking about your fears, talking about something deeper than diets and weight loss. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, depending on how you feel about this, Mel, you have to be the change that you want to see. I think that was Gandhi who said that, obviously not me, but I'm using it because it's such a great quote. We have to go first. We have to be the change we want to see. So if you can't be that yet, that's okay. Focus on your recovery first.
Yeah.
Take yourself out the situations, change the subject, go quiet. If someone's asking you directly, you can just be like, you don't have to be rude. Do whatever you can to protect yourself. And then get new friends as well.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah. And that maybe reflected how amazing it is that diet culture and the diet industry makes billions from other people's insecurities, from inflicting insecurity upon people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's quite interesting to open a conversation like that because Most people have never thought about it. I know I certainly had never thought about it.
That's it. We're brainwashed. One client of mine said, and this was a great thing that she said, she went out, I think, with like 3 friends to a cafe. They were all dieting, so they got like green shakes. My client got a piece of cake and a hot chocolate, and they were all like, oh, I wish I could eat that, or I'm trying to be good. And then this client just said, yeah, well, you know what? It's so good living in food freedom and just being able to eat a slice of cake just because I want one. So
Yeah.
she was modeling the freedom that they wish that they could have when they can actually have it.
Yes. Because a lot of people don't know. So many people just think, oh, this is the way it is. And we are all brainwashed. So, yeah, you can actually start the conversation that starts other people realizing that
Yeah.
they too can be free.
Yeah. So focus on yourself and then start to share if it feels good. But it's normal how you're feeling. Don't allow yourself to stop questioning and second guessing recovery. Go and listen to a podcast after you've been with them. Like, do something that you just need to get yourself back on track with the positiveness, and that's a new word, positiveness, and body positivity, and that. Do something for yourself to get you back where you need to be if you can't speak up and can't change the conversation. Yes.
I've got another Claire, a different Claire. I'm just Claire. Am I still able to recover mental health wise if I don't deal with the root cause of my eating disorder?
Oh, so she asks specifically mental health wise.
Yes.
Well, no. Well, wait. You can make great progress if you're only focusing on the behaviors and the stuff just under the surface level of the behaviors. So I'm not saying just don't bother unless you're ready to deal with the root cause. Bother, but as you go on this journey, I assure you that you will want to get to the root cause. And I'm assuming this root cause, she kind of knows what it is, and it's going to be terrifying to feel and bring back up. And I assume it will be from childhood too.
That's what I'm guessing as well. My guess is that she doesn't want to relive the pain.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But as you recover, as you start bringing in the self-compassion and the self-acceptance, your ability to deal with the pain and to be able to feel the pain becomes so much more.
It does.
And at some point, you will be strong enough to feel it. And it's only when you start to feel it that you are able to heal it.
Mm.
But you can bring in the different parts of yourself, internal family systems, bring in that adult self, the caring, nurturing adult self to look after what I'm guessing is the terrified child, and to be there for her and to show up for her. And yes, you can start that process without revisiting a specific incident.
Yes, like you did.
Yeah.
Without unless you wanted to share what a big thing was for you. You started all the other work, and then of course that came up because it was part of it, whereas perhaps you might not have thought it needed to be brought up, but it didn't. It's not like I'm like it needed to be there, but it comes up because to be fully healed and fully recovered, healing at the root is essential. Otherwise, yeah, you will get so far, you can, because I got very far with mindset only before I was aware of trauma work and emotional regulation and inner child's healing. I did get quite far, but not fully recovered. So
Yeah.
you will always be, there'll always be something that doesn't quite feel right if you don't go right to the root.
Yes. And these things only come up when you are ready to heal them.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. So trust the process, trust yourself, which I know might be really hard right now because you might not have any, but trust in something. I don't know what your beliefs are. whether you believe in the universe, God, whatever, but even if you just trust in life, trust in us, what we're sharing, just trust something outside of yourself, but actually it is within yourself that the biggest trust where it comes from, and start and just see what happens and take your time.
Yeah. Be really gentle with yourself as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then get professional support if you can.
Yeah. It's so hard to do this journey alone.
Yeah. And even if it's a support group, like I appreciate not everyone has the finances to invest in a therapist or a coach. There's also, you can get support through, depending on where this person lives, from the NHS if they're in England. Like there are ways, do everything you can to support yourself because you're worth it.
Definitely.
Yes. Love that question. This is a great one, and I'm glad that you're going to answer this one first. So Millie says, how to recover from an eating disorder with a genetic disease that causes severe GI issues.
Oh, okay. Be really gentle with yourself.
Mm.
Obviously, if you know of a specific food that is going to cause you really severe issues, then don't have that food. Like, I do not eat fish. I don't eat fish because it makes me very, very sick. And I don't want to be very, very sick. So fish was not part of my recovery.
Mm.
It's not a fear food. Well, apart from the fact it makes me sick.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with any other aspect of it. So if there's foods like that are going to make you really, really sick, then don't have them.
Mm.
But there is also a lot of GI issues with recovery anyway. So if it's foods that you're unsure of, that aren't making you really, really, really ill, that is not a true allergy or a true intolerance, then I would definitely suggest introducing them small doses, not like, oh, I might be able to eat pasta, I'm going to have an entire bowl of it, because your body has not been digesting all these things for a very long time and has no practice in doing it, has not been producing the correct enzymes for, let's say, dairy or meat or something to break it down. So your body needs time to adjust. So if you have a lot of GI issues, introduce foods that you used to be able to eat before the eating disorder, first of all.
Yeah.
And introduce them gently. If that means you're having more of your safe foods that you know are okay, whilst introducing small amounts of these other foods to allow your body to adjust because of the GI issues, then do that. You don't have to follow a specific way. Everybody's recovery is different.
Yeah. I love that. And thank you for answering first, because I like to go off because I've not had actual lived experience with this. Most of my wisdom comes from lived experience. Been through a lot, but not really severe GI issues. Obviously, I had a lot of bloating and digestive stuff in recovery, but it wasn't like a severe GI issue. But what I will say is one of my clients, when she first came to me, she tested positive for celiac disease, which is what, allergic to gluten or something. And now she eats carbs. But it had to be done, like Julia said, gradually. So it wasn't like, oh, that's just the eating disorder, have a bowl full of like pasta. It was okay, right? Let's first of all get you eating more, like you said, the foods that you do know are okay with your body, and then like try things here and there. And you might have a bit of a reaction because it's new to the body, but you'll feel into it, speak to your coach, and then just start to introduce it more and see what happens. Because also stress and fear is directly linked to the gut. So if you've been petrified and fearful of eating dairy or gluten or whatever it is, you can literally create this problem, disease for yourself. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, but through the severe fear you can send signals to your body, like, let's say dairy, this is not safe, this is not safe, this is not safe. So your body responds to your mind because your mind is so powerful and influential over your body. So when you're starting to relax more and you take it slow with someone who can support you, I think it will just get better. Well, I know it will get better from there, but you do need to go slow. You can't just be like, oh, go all in, eat all the things. You
Yeah.
need to be careful of your health, but you can fully recover, even if you have to avoid foods for the rest of your life. You can fully recover, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I avoid fish.
Yes.
Um, but also, I do want to mention to this that I don't know anybody that's gone through recovery without having GI issues.
Yeah, true. Me neither,
It
actually.
is part and parcel of recovery as well. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a minefield, but if they're tolerable, keep going,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And this is really kind of harsh for me to say. I want to say stay away from nutritionists, dietitians who are like, right, you need to avoid dairy, sugar, even though they're doing it from a place to support your health. I'm assuming that's a lot of what has got you into this restriction in the first place. So
Yeah,
work with someone who's aware of GI issues, maybe experiencing it themselves, but who is a recovery expert, because
definitely.
otherwise it's going to start to get into, it's not, you're not really going to fully recover if you're having these list of foods like that you're not allowed to eat kind of thing.
Well, yes, absolutely. Because things like fiber, fruits, vegetables, complex carbohydrates, and stuff are actually really, really difficult for the body in recovery and cause a lot of GI issues. These so called foods that we're supposed to have every day
Yeah.
would be really, really difficult to digest in recovery.
And now it's fine for us to have loads of vegetables and loads of fruits
Yeah,
now.
yeah. But
Yeah.
the foods that society tells us we shouldn't have, the white carbs, the high sugar, the processed foods, can be so gentle on your stomach and on your body in recovery. And they can be some of the very best foods you can have.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're getting help, get help from somebody that knows about this in recovery, not in general, because it's
Yes,
very, very different.
it is very different. Right, how many have I got left? We might do it, we might not. Let's see. Oh, those are yours actually. Oh, you added to the list. Look at you.
I know.
That's very cool. Oh, hold on. Was that my question? Oh, yeah, it's your turn.
um, okay, I'm just going to go. I'm going from the bottom up. You can go from the top down. Yeah.
Okay.
So done that. How to know what amount of food is enough for your day if you don't feel hungry?
Great one. And that
Really
is,
good question.
how'd you say the name? Litu?
Letu? I don't know.
I think
Letu.
I think
Thank
she's
you for
laid
the
to
question.
makeup. So
Ah,
yeah. So and I had a few conversations with her in the DM. Great question. Right. So okay, so right. So you're not, how do you know what amount if you're not hungry?
don't feel hungry.
We both share the same guideline. Well, first of all, where are you on your recovery? Are you I hate to bring this word underweight, because what does that even mean? Do you think you are weight restored? And you probably think you will, and you might actually not be. Like, where are you? How long have you been restricting? Have you been binging? Like, I would like to know first, like, are you binging, quote unquote? Are you
Mm,
severely, like, what's happening day to day with your food? That will give me a guide on, like, okay, I know where you're at. Well, let's say you have no hunger at all. Let's say you're not binging, and let's say you're just severely under eating for your nutritional needs. Minimum 3 meals, 2 snacks, and 1 dessert every day. Even if you're not hungry, as a guide, because that gets everything. Because I mean, I'll leave this to you, because this is exactly what you had no
no
signals. You were
happy
mechanically
signal.
eating for months until you were like, oh my God, I think I'm hungry. Is this what hunger feels like in the middle of the night? And I was like, that sounds like hunger to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I started on 3 meals, 3 snacks, and then introduced 3 meals, 3 snacks, and 2 desserts.
Yeah.
I would say that having regular food, so not like once or twice a day, but really regular food, so that your body starts to learn to trust you.
Mm.
A minimum of 6 times a day.
Yeah.
And whatever, say the average for a woman is 2,500 calories, you need more.
Yes.
You need to have more than the average. So you need to look towards 3,500. Not that I want people calorie counting, but it needs to be more than the average person because you have an energy debt.
Yes.
So you need to eat more than the people around you.
Yes. So if you're comparing to try and support yourself, that's
Yeah.
great, but you also need to be eating more than the people around you. And
Yeah.
everyone's different, but good that you brought that up because a lot of my clients actually start off by being like, but I'm eating more than my husband. Is your
And I
husband
ate
in
a lot
recovery?
more than my husband in recovery, and I had to.
Yeah.
So
So stay
yeah,
in your own lane.
yeah,
I would say every 2 to 3 hours, eat something. And
definitely.
ideally 3 meals. So that looks like if you were to type in Google breakfast ideas, that's the breakfast. And the same with lunch, because a lunch idea is not a pathetic small pit of yogurt and a granola bar. That's a diet lunch idea. So it helped me to be like, what? I was like, I don't even know what lunch is. Like, what do people eat at lunchtime? I didn't know.
I think I was like that too, but then I think we're not being honest with ourselves because I think we do know. I
True.
think if you went to a cafe or something and you see what is on the menu, then you get ideas, right?
Yeah,
And you
it's
know
not going to
what
be
the
a
people
granola bar
eat.
for
No,
lunchtime, is it?
no, exactly. So if you're concerned about portion sizes, go out to eat a few times and see what the portion sizes are like.
Yes.
Um, there was something else I was going to say to this, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, yes. Another thing is if you are not sleeping well in the night and you are feeling restless and you're turning over and over and your legs just don't seem to want to settle, that is hunger.
Yeah. So eat.
Eat, even if it's in the middle of the night. But that's when you're sleeping really well through the night, you're starting to be having the right amount of food for yourself in the day.
Yeah.
But if you're restless and turning and your legs, particularly if your legs don't want to stay still, that's hunger.
Yeah.
And
And
you
like
need
your
to.
body's like wanting to walk by itself and go and get food.
Exactly. That is exactly what it is, I think.
Yeah. So I hope that's helped, lovely. Right. Let's see. Tabitha says, fighting the urge to slip back into old habits when last year's clothes don't fit anymore. So, of course, weight gain, summer's here, nice, pretty old dresses don't fit. That sucks. Not going to lie. Let's just meet.
It does, yeah. Absolutely, it sucks. It feels horrible. What's it inviting you to do?
Exactly that. What do you want? Do you want to slip back into old habits and live in the hellhole of restriction? And Tabitha was also experiencing the binging. So that cycle. If you did that, you might be a bit thinner. You might not.
You could get some new clothes.
Amen to that. Get some new clothes, get some more different pretty dresses, and start to embrace your new body. It doesn't mean you have to love the way it looks, but embracing it and fully accepting who and what you are and doing life anyway. That's way more important than like wishing you fit in a smaller dress.
Yeah. And I also actually got a stylist to help me feel good in my clothes. And that made a huge difference, actually, because I was hiding away in oversized clothes that I didn't feel good in, and I didn't feel good about my body. And she helped me to find clothes that I liked and that felt good. And so, yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Because clothes can be an expression of self. Like I'm wearing, if those of you who aren't watching the video, I'm wearing a bright, bright, bright pink dress today. And that just reflects my personality, you know? And I'm not sorry about it.
Why should you need to be?
Exactly. Okay.
I think we've got two more. One is again about the obsessive movement, which we covered. Alice asked, how do I stop myself from obsessive movement? Which we did cover earlier with George's question.
We did. And she says something about steps. Get
Yes.
rid of your step counter.
Totally, yeah. Because it's just tying you to it. It's just almost like, I don't know, just get rid. Just so get rid of it. Yeah.
And she says she's exhausted. I'm not surprised. And that's a good thing because her body is like, bitch, I'm exhausted. So that is inviting you, obviously, to rest. I know it's not easy because you say, how can I stop myself from obsessive movement? Because here's the thing, your legs aren't walking by themselves. It's not like you're literally like in your experience of life, like, oh my God, my legs are walking me. I don't want to do this, but my legs are walking me this many steps a day. Please stop, legs. No. You're not.
That just happens at night when you're hungry, when you need to eat at night.
They still don't do that, but they try. So
Yes.
You fucking have control over this.
You do.
Yeah. So go back to what we were saying about the compulsive movement. I know this is obsessive movement and it's more of like an exercise thing, but it's the same thing. What do you want to be doing that? No.
Yeah.
And how can you support yourself to stop? Get rid of the step counter apps.
Yeah, all my fitness pal apps, all that sort of thing, all the tracking apps.
Yeah. And stop and celebrate the shit out of yourself when you've stopped, even if you have to go from the amount you've said to half to begin with. Even if you have to go in increments down, ideally stop completely. But if that's too much for you, start doing less, celebrate yourself, do less again, celebrate yourself. And before you know it, you'll feel a lot better, especially if you're eating more. You won't be exhausted and you'll be well on your way to freedom and health and happiness.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to just do it, aren't we? Last question. Am I reading it? So Pitty says, how can I stop delaying recovery?
There's never going to be a right time.
Nope.
You're never going to wake up one day and go, oh, I'm ready now.
Today's the day.
Today is the day.
It's tomorrow's day. It's always tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes.
So it is simply, how do I stop? By stopping.
Yeah.
Right now, right this moment.
And do something about it.
Yeah.
Because if nothing changes, nothing will change. You can't think your way to recovery. You can't read your way to recovery. You can't podcast listen your way to recovery. Great information is all in the action. And of course, that means walking through your fear.
All the changes for all of recovery come from taking the actions.
Yeah. And there's a quote I want to end on. Hold on, let me get my phone because I've saved it in my photos. And it just reminded me of this and I want to share. This was on a book. This was on a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. And we all, well, a lot of us know who that is. And
Big Magic.
Pardon?
Was it on Big Magic?
It's not Big Magic. This is literally the title of the book. I want to read this actually. It says, I've never seen any life transformation that didn't begin with the person in question finally getting tired of their own bullshit.
Oh, love that.
Right? So, Pitty, if that's how I say your name, are you tired of your own bullshit in the most loving way possible of, I'll start tomorrow, I'll wait for the right time? No. Get tired of your own bullshit. Start now. And then in a week, a month, a year's time, you will look back and you'll be so glad you started today.
Yeah.
If not now, when?
Yeah, you can delay forever.
What did you say?
So you can delay forever, but
yeah,
nothing happens until you make it happen.
And do you want to be 20 years in the future, 10 years in the future, and be in the same place as you are now? Because you will be if you don't do something, and you can do something. You have the power to do that.
Yeah, we all have that power.
Yeah.
But
We've nailed that. We did it. We've done it all. We've got all the questions answered. I'm so proud of
amazing.
us. Yay!
That's brilliant. We literally did get all of them done. That's awesome.
Literally just within an hour. That's epic. Is there anything that we want to share?
I think I just wanted to reiterate what I was saying, just in general, all of these, every single question is about feeling bad, feeling uncomfortable, wanting feelings to change. And feelings change after actions are repeatedly done to change the feelings. Feelings will not change until the actions are being done again and again and again. And then they do change.
Yeah, that is a great thing to end on, because it's true. We don't want to be in fear. We don't want to be in discomfort. We're looking for a way out. There is no way out apart from through. And like Julie says, when you take the action consistently, your feelings, your reality, your life changes. Not without the action, though.
No, the actions have to happen. You can't, the feelings are not going to magically change until you give yourself evidence by taking the actions and notice the evidence you're giving yourself.
Yeah. And you can tolerate these feelings, especially with support, if you don't know how to feel, which sounds weird, but a lot of us don't. I didn't know how to feel.
I certainly didn't know how to feel.
No. And you'll be resisting the feeling, which actually is a lot worse. Trust us, resisting the feeling is a lot worse than actually feeling the feeling you're afraid and resisting.
Yes.
Yeah. So have trust in yourself. It's deep down, there's a part of you that is listening to this for a reason. That part of you knows what's up. Listen to her or him.
Yeah.
Or
you
them.
say to me, is this thought coming from love or fear?
Always follow love.
Always.
Yeah. And that note, I actually want to do us both a plug, whatever you call it, because we don't do this often, but I'm so wanting to help people, as are you. If you did want to, I mean, I'll leave Julia to share her own in a minute, but if you did want to work with me or Julia on a one-to-one basis, check out our websites. Our prices are, very competitive. We work with the sliding scale, so we make it work as much as we can for people who might not think they can afford coaching, but you might be surprised. So reach out to either of us. I have a membership as well. That's €49 a month. And ask us about it. Don't do this alone. And Julia, do you even have capacity for new clients? Because you're very full right now, which is awesome.
I've got a small amount of capacity, yes. But I also just wanted to add to that the beautiful thing about coaching is that we meet you where you're at. You don't have to fit in any boxes. You don't have to be a certain BMI or anything to qualify for help. Your recovery, your way, and we support you with it. It's not a set program that you have to follow.
No, your program.
Yeah, there's nothing that would make you not suitable for recovery, because nobody has to fit in a box.
Love that. All right, Luz. Well, thanks from both podcasts. I'm sure my listeners are your listeners and your listeners are mine.
I'm sure they all are, yeah.
Very grateful for all of you. And of course, we'll be doing these regularly, as you can see. So wait for the next one. Send us your questions. And
yeah, because we got this little document.
Yeah, we nailed this time. So let us have them. Questions. All right. Much love. Bye.
Bye.